Hi guys, welcome back. This is Sarah here from Headout, and today we are joined with the fabulous Alex Mariotti.
Hi everyone, my name is Alexander Mariotti. I am a historian, historical advisor, and I always like to say I'm an all-round history nerd. I love all things Roman, all things to do with gladiators, ancient history, and today really I'd love to have a chat about not just the history of Rome, but the sort of culture aspects that make the city so wonderful that we want to share it with you.
We're going to be answering all of the main questions that exist around the Colosseum, Palatine Hill, and Roman Forum. To help you understand if a guided tour is what you want, if it's worth getting access to the arena stage and the underground, or if it's more than suitable to just go for a ticket. So obviously when it comes to Colosseum, whether you're doing the regular entrance, the arena entrance, or the underground, in most cases, all of these tours are going to give you access to the Palatine Hill and the Roman Forum.
Yeah.
From the reviews that I've seen online, it seems that sometimes customers get a bit confused as to what order they're doing the tours in, because sometimes these can change. Have you found that experience with people?
I mean, in my experience, one of the big problems about Rome, why I always edge towards having a guide, is because there isn't much information. So you really don't know what's going on. And especially when it comes to this site, because there's 3 major sites in one location, people don't know in which order to do it or which order they're actually going to see it.
When you do book a guided tour, often you have the 3-hour option, which takes you to all 3 sites. But there's no guarantee that you're seeing the Colosseum first. It very much depends on the day. A lot of the time, guys are going to try and take you and avoid the shade, or there's a different timed entrance to the Colosseum. There's a multitude of different reasons. For example, starting on the Palatine, going to the Forum, and then the Colosseum, you can visit it chronologically.
Or even, sometimes it's busier in the Colosseum, so maybe it's better to get that first. But the guide will know what's the best sort of experience to have. Because they are very busy sites, they are very complex sites. And also, let's say you do a private tour, for example, then you can decide what's more important to you, what's the one thing you want to spend, and where do you want to spend it.
Let me know if you agree. I would say a group tour, you're probably looking at between 20 to 30 people. And then with small groups, probably between 10 to 15. And then private. Do you have a preference for any of the 3?
Again, it depends what someone's wanting, and then it comes down to personal choice. So some people are quite happy to sort of just delve into the more, I wouldn't say necessarily superficial, but the lighter part of history. Not everyone wants a history lesson. Not everyone is as passionate about the history and the culture. If you are, though, then I 100% say go for a private tour. That's one of the great experiences, is you talk with someone who knows the place locally, but who knows the history, and you can engage in great conversations. That's been one of the great pleasures I've had. But these are conversations that can come out of being one-on-one or a small group. My rule of thumb is, when I travel, what experience do I expect? That's the experience I want to give to somebody who's coming to Rome.
So another question that we get asked quite a lot when it comes to booking, in terms of depth of history, less history, easy access visit, and lots of history being down here, essentially what you're going to want is skip the line ticket, followed by the express tour in and out of the Colosseum. Regular tour, all 3 sites, you're in the bigger group, but you're getting all of your basic knowledge and history coming through.
Yeah.
Your small group tours, you have that interaction, and then you've got in-depth history, incredible private tours, and also all of these additional special access tours, as we discussed earlier as well.
That would be a good graph. I mean, it's true. Even with the guide itself, the quality of the guide, you might find that a lot of guys aren't really that in-depth of the history. They know like the sort of light things like from A, B, C to D, but you'll probably find that someone who specializes perhaps in a certain area of Rome is going to have a really good, profound knowledge, which means that if you are curious by nature and you want to ask, what caused the destruction of the Roman Empire? What caused the implosion of the Roman Empire? Why did Rome become from a republic to an empire? These kind of questions, then, you can find somebody who's going to be able to answer them. And again, going by your graph, you know where you're going to find that person on the graph.
I don't think I'll ever get tired of this view.
For most people, it's just enough to go into the Colosseum, take a look, take a walk around. It depends on what kind of experience you want. If you want to go a little deeper, then I highly suggest the underground and the arena, simply because when we go to sports stadiums, we live an experience as a spectator. So to walk around the Colosseum in a normal ticket will give you the chance as a spectator to understand what it was like to be at the games. Going to the underground arena gives you a chance to experience what it was like to actually participate in the games and to be a gladiator. So you get to feel what it was like walking through the tunnels, maybe imagine for a moment what it must have been like for the gladiators to come out to the arena floor and have these 55 to 85,000 people cheering for you. So it just gives you a little extra in the experience, and it really goes down to personal choice, I think.
The one thing to bear in mind though, guys, is if you are interested in those ones, the tickets sell out in advance because they're very highly requested. So that's something you're going to have to book in advance.
I actually love each one of them for something unique. Colosseum definitely as a visual experience is amazing because it's there and there's enough of it to actually picture yourself quite easily back in time. The Forum, visually, it isn't exciting. In fact, it's most often referred to as a pile of bricks, which is a very adequate description of it, but it's an incredible pile of bricks. One, because it shows you the scale of Rome, and secondly, because the more you delve into it and the more you talk about it, the more you realize how impacted your life. And the view from the Palatine, I definitely think is a favorite because it shows you, one, how impressive Rome was, and two, how fragile civilization is. Because when you're standing in the Palatine overlooking the Forum, you experience what the emperor did. You learn about how similar we are to the Romans. We always say they were just like us, when the truth is we're just like them. And the more you learn about the Romans, wow, these people really created something that we've, 2,000 years later, tried to create. It really puts into, I think, a sobering effect as to how much we're like the Romans and how easily civilization can just vanish.
And that's pretty much the end of our video. Today we've dived into a bunch of different information and some of the most asked questions when it comes to getting your visit to the Colosseum. Whether a guided option is better, small roof tours, underground arena, or whether a ticket only is more than sufficient. It really comes down to what you want out of the experience. Thank you very much to our fabulous guest today, Alex Mariotti.
Thank you.
If there is anything we left out, let us know in the comments. And if there's another monument and you'd like us to do another interaction with another local, do let us know. Until next time, we'll catch you later. Ciao.